episode 5, and I'm not even gonna try to pronounce that name. And it's your boy Icon with a Netflix original series animated review for. I'm not gonna pronounce that name. Sorry. And before we get started, hit the notification bell, like and subscribe to my channels, check out my other videos. Let's get started with some Tomb Raider action. We took a little break. We did the first half of the season, and then I got stuck doing New York Comic Con, and then we ended up, I had my other reviews. I had like Penguin and everything. Like the best part, one of the good things about reviewing Netflix series when they give you the entire season in one shot is that I actually don't have to commit myself to record them week to week. So, so now, this one was quick though, because in this particular episode, Laura, like she meets up with an old friend of Joe, and I believe his name was Rio. And they, she tells him, she's like, oh, Jonah's in trouble. She's like, I need your help. And then he was like, I'll do anything to help Jonah. So she gets on his airplane and she takes him to a town where she thinks Jonah is, because Laura's trying to find the gold stone. And she's been 10 steps behind Devereaux the entire time. So, of course, by the time she gets to the town that she's supposed to be in, Devereaux already has the stone. So now he has 3 of them. She jumped out of an airplane with no parachute. No, but she did have a parachute. Like, she's badass. We get it. And then when she lands on the ground, she sees Jonah, who's not under mind controlled, in a train, inside of a train. So she jumps on a motorcycle because she's a badass, and she jumps onto the train. She gets onto the train, takes her bow and arrow, and she's getting ready to put 2 between Devereaux's eyes. But then Devereaux had basically controlled every single person on the train. Like, they're all under his mind control. And they were also designed to protect him in case he got in trouble. Because when Laura tried to actually shoot him with the bow and arrow, one of the people that he was possessing jumped in the way of the arrow, and he got stabbed in the chest instead. So when he wakes up out of his mind control, that shit's gonna hurt. And then that's when Laura and Devereaux had a conversation, and then Devereaux was just like, oh, you and I are the same, Lady Croft. And then she was like, no. She was like, first of all, because she told him, she was like, you sound just like me when I was seeking revenge. She said that I want to burn Trinity to the ground, and when I burned them to the ground, it changed nothing. My daddy still wasn't there. The house was still empty. And she's like, the path that you're on leads to nowhere. And then he was just like, you don't know anything. You don't know my pain. And he said, like, this is the light. Like, these people need to go. He said, even if burning them down to the ground won't cure the pain that I feel inside for losing my father, he said, these are still bad people. They still need to die. And then she was like, if you think you can control the power of the stone, she's like, you're mad. And then he was just like, I thought we were kindred spirits, Croft. And then he sucked the goons on her, and then everybody tried to attack her. While she was fighting, Jonah beat the shit out of her. Jonah, under mind control, he beat the shit out of her. And then he was just like, oh, you think you're the only one that cares, that feels lost. He's like, we've all suffered grief. And he was like, but we've all gotten over it. We've moved on with our lives. You need to get over it. He's like, it's not all about you. And then he's like, I'm tired of babysitting you, everything, because you don't listen. Like, he verbally and like physically like let her have it. And then, he threw her out of a window. And then when he threw her out of a window, she used her trusty pick to grab onto the side of the train. She comes back into the train car from up above, and when she comes in from up above, then she whooped Devereaux's ass and knocked the stones out of his hand. When she knocked it out of his hand, Devereaux, everybody that he had possessed everybody snapped out of it, like they weren't under the mind control anymore. And then after they snapped out of it, Laura and, Devereaux, they were trying to get the stones, but then Devereaux got him back. He got him back. He was able to remind control everybody, but he wasn't able to affect Jonah because Jonah wasn't near him when he did the whole thing to put everybody under the mind control. So then Laura was just like, Jonah, do you trust me? And then he was like, sure, after all that shit he just said. And then he grabbed her, but basically she pushed him out of the window. Like, basically, Laura said to him, do you trust me? And he was like, yeah, I trust you. And then she pushed him out of a window and used him to break her fall. I'm like, really? Like, I've never trusted you again after some shit like that. And like, she landed on him to break her fall. And then after that, she got away. Devereaux got mad, and then, she apologized. She was like, I'm so sorry, Jonah. She was like, I didn't know how you felt. And she's like, you mean the world to me. Don't tell your wife. And then, and then they were just like, well, what now, Laura? And they were just like, let's save the people. And for the bloody hell, let's go home. I need a drink. So now they're trying to figure out where the 4th stone is. And by the time they figure that out, Devereaux would have got that too. So now Jonah, Laura, and Zip, they're back at stately Loft Manor. And while they're at Loft Manor, they're trying to find out where he could be. And then Laura ends up going into a secret cavern in her parents' old house. and she finds information that told a story about chaos and everything. Abby called Jonia and said that Laura's not invited to the wedding, but then she also said that the balance of the world is being thrown into chaos. Birds are falling out of the sky, like the earth is opening up in the middle. And then she was like, Jonah, she's like, now you and Laura have to do something. And I'm like, now they gotta do something. And then after that, Laura, the Zip was like, yo, let's build a water slide and everything. And then Laura figured out where the final stone could be. And then she told Jonah, she was like, oh, come with me, Jonah. She's like, help me save the world, as Zip quarterbacks, for my daddy's house. And then after that, like an earthquake happened, a hole broke in the floor. And then she was like, oh, this is where we're going to install the water slide. And that was actually pretty funny. It's nice that Laura's kind of like being like a little lighthearted now, because she was like super serious, like throughout the entire thing. Like she did kind of like calm down a little bit. Like she has perspective now, like about her friends and her family and everything. But we still got to catch the bad guy. So now both Jonah and Laura, they're on their way to go find Devereaux and to hopefully find the fourth stone. They're going to fail because they failed this entire time. And then in the final credit scene, her other friend, what was it, Gabby, like her friend from like the last episode 4, she called Zip, and then she was just like, oh, tell Laura that what she feared is true, because the light is here and they're going to make their presence felt. So now that Devereaux's basically trying to acquire all the stones, the light is now going to like resurface to try to come after them so they can get the stones from him. The light's going to end up taking the stones from Devereaux, and then Devereaux and Laura together, they're going to end up fighting the light, and then after they fight the light, then Devereaux's going to turn on Laura. It's going to be this whole big thing. I'm definitely looking forward to it, and thank you for tuning in. So now let's see. So this is episode 5, so we only have 3 more to go. I'm definitely looking forward to it. I want to see how it ends. I want to see how everything goes. Obviously, Jonah's going to get married at some point, or maybe he's going to die. Like, who knows? Who knows? But share your questions, comments, and or concerns down below, and we will continue to talk about it. Check out my other reviews, because I got the Penguin up on my channel. I've got Agatha All Along for you Marvel fans up on my channel, and we got that Superman and Lois. And like I said, I'm going to bring you guys some more Tomb Raider action, and check out my New York Comic-Con footage as well, because Lord, I am tired from that. So thank you for tuning in. Until next time for some more Laura Croft action as we drop from the sky. Take care, and we're out this